Sometimes it feels like the political world is spinning on its axis. Here to sort it all out, political consultant O'Brien Murray and J.C. Polanco, attorney and assistant professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent. So, guys, there was a big debate this past week. I think it was a guy named Trump and a woman named Harris. How did they do?
Go for it.
I'll tell you, I think, I'm not kidding. I think,
first.
well,
go ahead. This is your chance.
Look, I'm the independent here, and I'll tell you this. Vice President Harris won by 9:28 p.m. It was a knockout. Once she started talking about the rallies, it was over. She was poised, she was knowledgeable, and he had set the bar so low for a month now. She's not smart, she's dumb, she's trash. We heard everything about her. She came in here, and she freaking filleted him like a fish. She prosecuted the case.
She put him on his heels at the beginning by shaking his hand. She went into his space behind his lectern, and he wasn't ready for it. And I think the biggest problem that President Trump has right now is the missed opportunity he had. And voting's already started in North Carolina. It's about to start in Pennsylvania. These are things that are already going on. He needs to come back out again, if he's not going to debate, and do town halls or something and be out there speaking. He didn't define her. He missed every opportunity he could have. And she came out of that looking presidential, and he looked out looking like Donald Trump.
Here's the big question. Did this move the needle in the ever-important battleground states?
Absolutely.
Polling out now.
He was
absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, there's only 10,000 people in Georgia, 5,000 people in Arizona. There's only a handful of independents that are going to decide this election. And what you saw was someone who was incredibly presidential, on top of her game, and more importantly, prosecuted a case as to why Trump should not be president. And I think you're convincing independents. No independent saw this and said, I
would disagree, and here's why. Here's why. Polling this week says 80% of the viewers of the debate, it didn't change their mind. 18% of people that watched that debate, one of the highest viewed debates in America's history, only 18% say it moved the needle. How many of those people, that's a poll out. Well, that's the question. And that number comes way down within the battleground states. She went really well with her base. She stepped up, but it did not move the needle with independence.
But that's just not true. That's not true. You said 18%, but this decision is going to be decided by 1 or 2. That's a huge deal. And she talked about McCain. She talked to independents. She talked to centrists, and she talked to Governor Nikki Haley supporters.
Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2% and barely lost. Joe Biden won the popular vote by 4% and barely won. Poll out this week has Harris up at 5%. That shows you how narrow it still is. After the debate, that shows you how narrow it is.
Okay, guys, what was the defining moment of the debate for you and then for you?
I think the defining moment in the debate was when Donald Trump completely unraveled and didn't know what was happening, didn't speak about policy, was on defense the whole night, and it happened at 9:28 p.m.
I think her shaking his hand and then the first question when he did not hit it out of the park, he had every chance to say why you're better off when I'm in the presidency and why you're worse off today than you were 4 years ago. The other thing throughout the debate that shocked me was the fact that she ran from Joe Biden so often. She didn't have to defend him, but every single time that Donald Trump went after Joe Biden, she did not give one pat on the back. And the discipline that she has shown right now is unlike anything you expected from Harris from the get-go.
But what about her saying that we had to turn the page and go to something new as opposed to something old?
Yeah, she had to. So we have to turn the page on Donald Trump. Look, what we saw there was Donald Trump was going in his racist tendencies. And again, not every Trump supporter is a racist. I know a lot of them, but I bet you this, every racist is a Trump supporter. Now, having said that, we saw the attacks on her, whether she was black or not. That's all him. And attacking Haitians, these are racial tropes, and that's what she meant by
She didn't just say turn the page. She said generational. She was connecting to the Swifties, all the Taylor Swift people that they're talking about. She was trying to connect to them. She couldn't tie herself to Joe Biden because that's the current page they're on.
Oh, but I want to ask that question because you brought up Taylor Swift. So after the debate, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. Does that mean anything in these battleground states, and does it help her, or is it just a wash?
I think the short answer is it helps her because at the end of the day, in the swing states, how many more people are going to be younger people are going to vote that weren't going to vote and just turn out? They were already supporting Harris, but they may have not thought about voting. They may have not thought about registering to vote even. So I think it's a net positive at the end of the day, unlike any other.
I have a feeling he doesn't agree.
No, I think I agree. And remember, at the end of the day, young people need to come out hardcore.
Are the young people the ones who are the persuadables, the ones who haven't made up their mind?
The young people are the ones that don't care about percentages. They care about the fact that there's someone that's energized recognizing that someone and has the approval of Taylor Swift. The last thing that Vice President Harris needs is Beyonce, and we could wrap this up.
The young people that you see out there already that talk about things historically didn't vote. They weren't persuadable. They knew what they believed, but they need to go out and vote no matter who they're voting for.
So we're saying that Taylor Swift may be the deciding factor in this election?
Well, when you're talking about a few thousand votes in Georgia and a few thousand votes in Western Pennsylvania, this could sway a lot of people. Now, we laugh about it, but there are a lot of young people who didn't know how to vote or who to vote for, and they actually like it.
So you seem to think that Donald Trump went off track. And you talk about the rallies. What we need to point out is that what she said was, I'd like to ask you to consider his rallies. And she said he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter, and he says that windmills cause cancer. And then she talked about how people leave his rallies because they're frustrated or bored. And he went nuts and said, people don't go to your rallies unless you pay them as a summer substance. Was that the moment that she got under his skin and he lost track of what he was supposed to do?
Absolutely. He lost, not only did he lost track of absolutely everything. And at that point, once that happened, and then he just started hammering down on undocumented immigrants and saying that Haitians are eating dogs and cats, we knew that the former president was done. And quite frankly, I don't think we have to talk about the cognitive situation with the former president. He's not all there. We know that he's not.
But put that part aside. The fact remains that she got under skin throughout. That may have been one point we're talking about, but even at the beginning when she shook his hand, he was back on his heels before she said hello. He was not ready for her to walk over there into his space. No way. If you look at his mannerisms at the beginning, she got him at the beginning, and he was on his heels. Even that first answer, as I said, he could have said why you're better off with me as president and why the past 4 years with Joe Biden and Harris, Vice President Harris, aren't going to work.
And you know what he has a really tough time on is the abortion answer. He actually said that Democrats, Independents, Republicans all wanted Roe versus Wade to be overturned. He said that with a straight face, and all legal scholars. And then I think something else that was brilliant about Vice President Harris, and this is important, she made her case like a prosecutor in a courtroom. She said, tonight you're going to hear A, B, C, and D, and these are all lies. And let me tell you, and when the jury heard the A, B, and C's, we knew what was going on.
People said going into this debate that they needed to hear more from her about what she stood for. Did she deliver on that?
Absolutely not. But
absolutely not.
No,
really.
She did not deliver on who she is and what she's about. She went after Trump. She did not answer the questions about anything other than her values stayed the same.
Well,
her values.
About some economic plan.
But she talked about economics.
She did not talk about why she believes certain things today and where she is on the issues. By the way, remember, the first job of a campaign is to win. No. The job for America is to learn about her and have her speak. It's a special election.
Quite rich.
It's a special. It's a special. It's a special.
Did she answer?
She answered the questions. And every time I hear someone that's a Trump person,
I'm an independent. JC, I'm the independent here too. Come on.
But every time I hear this about policy, here you had the vice president talking about her economic plan, her plans on what to do about reproduction, her plan on immigration and what to do, her plan on housing. She talked about everything. And at the end of the day, you had the former president talking about Haitians eating dogs and cats.
Will you watch the same debate as me?
I did, but
that's not the same debate. She did not answer those questions.
She absolutely did.
We have to leave it right here for now, but our conversation continues right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York.